please click the subscribe button and the notification icon. It will help us a lot. Hi, this is Rodrigo from Level Up, and today's guest is Sung Won Lim. Now, I'm very happy to have him here because one, he has been very busy, and I'm really happy that he has accepted to this interview. Two, because his project is something that I have very close to my heart. He is the founder of ImpriMed, which pretty much creates very specialized and personalized drug treatment for dogs and cats, and especially trying to find uh, into the pets who have cancer and try to treat them on time so that they can be saved. And right now, what they have been able to do is that they are helping veterinary oncologists to increase the most effective treatment, and they have an 82% prediction accuracy, and pretty much there has been a lot happening with this company. They have served 750 dog cancer cases, which is like 500 patients in less than half a year. Currently, they are helping 99 veterinary oncologists at 77 veterinary hospitals in 26 different states in the US, and continuously expanding with client network and service coverage area. They have successfully raised $4 million in seed rounds from prestigious Silicon Valley venture capitalists and also with international venture capitalists as well. And they are just trying to raise their Series A in order to scale their market. Someone has an amazing curriculum right now. He has a PhD in bioengineering from Stanford University, a master in translational medicine at UC Berkeley, and with a joint bioengineering program. He has a bachelor in chemical engineering from the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. He has 12 years of academic research and experience in bioengineering, and 7 years of industry experiences in pharmaceutical and biotech companies. So without any further ado, welcome, Sungun.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the nice intro. Like, I think it was a little longer, but yeah, well, thank you very much for the intro. Yeah.
There is a lot that you're doing, to be honest.
Oh,
This is the kind of cases that when I see the curriculum of somebody, I feel like I have done nothing with my life.
No, you created a lot more valuable things in other fields. So yeah, everyone has a great experience. Yep.
So this is something that is really close to my heart because I'm a dog lover. I had a lot of dogs through my life, and the previous one that we had, she had cancer pretty much in her stomach, and it developed really badly, and we had to put her to sleep. And my father was devastated because he was very, very close to that dog. And it took a while for us to get another dog, but now we have one, a Schnauzer, which is really crazy. And if you see the first interview that we had in this series, you will have him because you will see him there because he got into those crazy states, and you could see him trying to grab things from this table. But saying that, when I saw your startup, pretty much it hit really close to heart because of that. Because I have that case of having a dog that could have lived many more years, dying of cancer, and also I think that I still know many people who do not, let's say, care too much about animals. And even from a couple of business owners who could be a little bit cynical about the pet industry and things like that. However, there is something that is changing into the culture, I think, worldwide. And there was this study that showed that everything when it comes to the pet industry in taking care of animals, this is something that has grown 60% in the last, I think, 15 years. And you now even have you can see even luxury hotels who has packages to actually take care of your dog. So you are having a very luxurious room in an hotel, and with a space specifically designed for dogs and cats and other kind of
Exactly.
pets, and even airlines who have who allow to have pets into first class and things like that. So I think that this is something that is changing a lot, culturally speaking,
Right.
that we are moving towards trying to take better care of our pets and dogs, cats, and pretty much all the animals, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's completely, yeah, I totally agree with you. And then, well, they are basically, they're families, right? And also there is I know that some of the insurance companies, they trying to start a plan for include the human family plus their dogs and cats and other pets. So there are definitely, you're correct, there are definitely a changing cultural things. And then along with that, this industry is growing really fast. So I actually, honestly, our company started with a human cancer application first because I have a human cancer background, and then my co-founder has a human neuro disease, brain disease background. So we met together and then started this company, and then we naturally just thought about the human application, and then we thought that we developed this technology, and then we need a patient sample, clinical sample from hospitals. We thought that it's going to be easy because we both from Stanford. So, well, to the investors who really wants to see that the actual patient clinical data, we just told them like, yeah, we're going to get the data within like 1 or 2 months because we both from Stanford. We're going to just go to doctors and then just, can you share some patient sample? We just need a little bit amount of patient sample cancer cells, and then that's good enough for us to validate our technology. And then it took 7 months. During 7 months, we couldn't get any sample. For a small startup like us, and then the startup bringing up an unproven new technology, the hospital in human, especially for human cancer hospitals, it's really hard to get any really. The patient cancer cells are very precious, so the priority, we have really low priority, and then it requires a lot of regulation and a lot of paperwork to get into that. So we just spent 7 months, and then we moved to this pet industry. My co-founder just brought up, okay, I'm tired of doing this, like pursuing like longer and longer, waiting too long to get any just even single patient sample from human hospitals. So why don't we just start with our dogs and cats first? I was really surprised that see that the market is really big, and then you're correct, the culture is changing, and then the money going into this industry is growing really fast. And even in the recession, even in that the recession period, there was no decline in this kind of growth. So once we switched to this, we directly compare this the human cancer space and then the dog cancer space, pet cancer space, and I'm kind of sad to say this, but this space is a lot warm compared to this human cancer space. I'm not saying that our human targeting doctors are not doing very well. They are doing extremely hard, and then we really appreciate all the kind of like treatment options they are come up with. But here, I feel like the veterinarians, they care more, like patients a lot more, and then with a warmer heart, and they're more open to the new technology. So we can move a lot fast, and we have less regulation here, so we can collect a lot more data a lot faster. So that's kind of like our transition from human space to the space. And then that's aligned with your point that this atmosphere is changing. And then this space, the veterinary space, has exactly the same ecosystem. There are payers and the insurance companies and oncologists, cancer doctors, and the patients. So it's very similar to the human cancer space.
Nice. And yeah, something that I think people from outside the US
Hmm.
might not know
Hmm.
is that the regulation for the
Right.
medical industry is very, very hard. And I
Hmm.
didn't have an idea of how hard it was until we had a client
Hmm.
we did a video for them, and they
Hmm.
only had this technology that was meant uh, to pretty much transport documents
Hmm.
using online services,
Hmm.
uh, and they wanted to use that for hospitals so that they once you had the results, you could have like an history in a database, and you can send all the files of the exams of a patient into another doctor or another specialist
Hmm.
very fast, and that way it could help whenever they are moving one patient from one hospital to another.
Hmm.
It could help just uh, pretty much pass the information very quickly and in a more efficient way. And
Hmm.
they had to put a lot of regulation into that. And we are just talking about the documents, like, and we are not talking about, you
Hmm.
say, trying to get samples from real cancers. They are just trying to talk documents. And apparently there was a law that prohibited to
Hmm.
send medical documents over email and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had to go into a very huge stance into making sure that the privacy for that
Hmm.
was top notch. and
Right. Yeah.
and I was surprised, like, wow, like, and on one part I think is good that
Hmm.
things are that way, but I
Yeah.
can also
Sure.
see how trying to invent new technologies, as you said,
Hmm.
it will be harder because of so much regulation. So
Hmm.
I think there
Right.
should be like uh, there should be something created into the law that allows people to certain room to experiment with new technologies,
Hmm.
because I think we're reaching to this point where we can create a lot of things that were not possible in the past.
Hmm.
And in order to advance with that, we need a speed.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you. And definitely the patient information is one of the most important thing to secure. So definitely like a lot of like firewalls and the security barriers, we need that. But as you pointed out, there should be a way to kind of facilitate the new technology to, especially for small startups like us, come into the space and then work with other, the big hospitals and then the clinical data. So there should be a way. And then I do see it's kind of changing. And then the hospitals like Kaiser Permanente, they have their own kind of accelerator program to recruit the startup companies and then work with that hospital and the clinical data and their patients. So I think there is a definitely movement for that. But still it's slow, but there is a reason to be slow. And so I think that's why our company is important. We are building this kind of platform. We are develop and prove our new technologies here in the space, in the veterinary space first, and then collect all these data a lot faster with a lot more patient data information, and then translate this information into the human cancer, because there are a lot of similarities between the dog cancer and then the human cancer. So our dogs actually, they get the same type of cancers as humans get, and then they are treated with the same FDA-approved drugs. There are only 3 dog-specific cancer drugs approved by FDA, and all the other like around like 200 drugs are shared between human and dogs, which means that there are a lot of similarities in here for the treatment and the cancer itself. So this data is really actually translational from dog cancer to the human cancer. Of course, we are saving our each individual dog and cat who we love. So that's
Yeah,
exciting
definitely.
part. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is something as well that I didn't knew until recently, because my dog got a little bit sick and the veterinary didn't have the medicine that we needed. So we have a personal veterinary who checks on our dog, and she went
Hmm.
to a normal pharmacy and she got the same medicine for humans,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and and she just pretty much gave him the right dose, right? Because
Hmm.
obviously the dose for a human was bigger, so she
Yeah.
had to cut out the pill. But I
Hmm.
was like, really? Like we can give those the same medicine that we have, like, and I didn't knew that.
Yeah. So actually that so the drugs approved for human can be used for dogs, but interestingly, recently there is a case that kind of like dog the drug approved for dogs only that actually treated a cancer patient in human. So there is a news, NBC News this year, early this year, I think. Yeah, early this year. So very rare disease in human. She got treated with a dog, with a drug that approved for dog, because there was no like proven treatment for her cancer. So one doctor actually just recommended like there is a clinical trial that we trying to translate dog cancer drug into human. Are you gonna be join that trial? And then she got cured. So
Nice.
it's yeah, it's called comparative oncology. So actually, National Cancer Institute in U.S. We have been running this program for like more than 10 years so far. They are trying to get all the like collect really meaningful data from veterinary cancer space, and then if they found out a really good one, they initiate a clinical trial and try to move on to the human cancer. So it's been there for yeah for a long time.
Nice. That is something really important to know, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And well, you're trying to create now and pretty much create a service and a product that is very new, that hasn't existed before. What kind of challenge have appeared? And this is a question that I do all the people who are creating new technologies. What are the challenges that you are encountering when trying to,
Mhm.
I don't know, get funding or explain that to other people, and get people to trust in what you're doing? Because again, this is something that probably has never been done before. So uh, what are the most common challenges that you are
Wow.
encountering?
Okay, that's a really easily asked question to start up, but it's real. You know, the startup is always full of all these kind of difficulties. I would say 9 out of 10 are full of difficulties, but one which is exciting. The size of the excitement is really big, so it covers all the other nine. So that's why the startup is moving, and then it's exciting. So to me, the most difficult part for our business is that the scale up actually. It's kind of, we didn't expect our company is growing really fast like this pace, because when we were in the human cancer space, it was really hard to get one single patient sample. But here, doctors love our service, and then we actually prove our technology saving dogs and our dogs first, dog lymphoma patient first. Our services targeting dog lymphoma first, and then we served around, like as you introduced, we served more than 750 patients so far, and then our prediction accuracy, which means that we can outside of the body, once we get the cancer sample, we can test all these different drug combinations on this patient sample cancer cells, and then trying to find out which ones are really effective, which one is not effective. So doctors can actually screen out the non-effective drugs, and then they only focus on with the most effective ones. So what we do is we are predicting the drug efficacy from outside the body, and we are predicting what is happening will happen inside the body. So our accuracy is around like over 80%. Oops, sorry. Um, it's a motion sensor. Yeah. So doctors love our service, and then actually we are only working with veterinary doctors, but I don't know where they heard about our service, but we recently have had parents. They just directly email to us through our company email, and then they just express their interest to using our service. So we connect them to their local hospital who are already using our service. So our sample inflow, our service number of service per month is growing like literally like this. So we have limited budget, and then we have limited people. So it's a really good problem to solve. We are growing fast. So thankfully we contract with a 3-year contract with a lot bigger space, a lot bigger space. But still, like how we can systemize this and automate the process, those kind of things are everything regarding the scale up, like fundraising, more talented people, and in the faster turnaround, these kind of things, yeah, and the marketing, those kind of things. All these are our challenges. So my answer is there are so many, but everything relates to scale up. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is definitely a good problem to have, to be honest, because
yeah.
I think it's going to be, now that you're trying to go for the A series, I think that's a good pitch, like going like, hey, we had these funds and we have created this thing, and now there are so many people contacting us that we cannot advance more unless we have these other funds, and I think that is something that every investor will be very happy to hear. Like, okay, yeah, like we are overflowing with clients, and we need more help, right?
Right. Exactly. Yes.
And how was your experience into trying to raise these funds? Because I think trying to get funding from investors is something that is so unique for everybody that if we go through every startups, I think they all have a different experience with that.
Right. So our first round fundraising, we did one round. We did a seed round, closed last year. It took literally around 1 year. So in the end, we successfully closed with a 4 million seed round, which is a substantial amount of money for the first fundraising. But the process was not easy. I think the fundraising is one of the most difficult thing for the early stage startups. But ours was also very difficult. Especially we are trying to develop and introduce a new technology, and then we are trying to create a new market because there was no service like this before. So we need to convince the investors with selling our vision and dream and the value of this company. But the good thing is that the pivoting to the pet cancer treatment was one of the most important parts. And that was one of the most important points in our company history so far. We have only 2.5 years history, but still that was the most important thing. If we just stayed at the human cancer application, I probably cannot do this kind of interview with you. My company would be like gone like several months ago, I think. And there was a moment that we actually, I have an Excel file, really long Excel file investor list that I met during our seed round fundraising. It's counted up to 122 VCs. So I still really enjoyed meeting with investors and just selling our technology, and then to see they are also getting excited. That's one of the most exciting part of this being a CEO. But 120 is kind of exhaustive number for one round. So, but anyway, we met before we actually make a transition from human to pet. We met around 80 investors, more than 80 investors. And then we couldn't get any investment. There was only one investor who promised us that, okay, if you guys can collect 1.2 million, we're going to put 300K so we can fill up the 1.5 million. Okay. But we didn't get any 1.2 million. Okay. We didn't get any single wire transfer so far. Okay. Well, we'll see. But there was actually the early last year, January 2018, our bank account only has $8,000. So that was kind of disastrous. I feel really like miserable. So I just talked to my co-founder, Harian. My co-founder's name is Harian, and Harian, I think I cannot pay full amount for this month. And then she was really surprised, like, wait, what happened? What happened? We have $8,000 in our bank account, and we have to spend $5,000 for our patent. So maybe I cannot pay you the full amount this month. And she said, oh, that's fine. Like, like I can get a full amount next month. Okay. I don't know what's happening next month. So, but thankfully, really thankfully, like 2 weeks after that kind of conversation, we went to the Plug and Play Ventures, which is one of the pretty well-known VC in this area and globally. We met the managing partner there, and then after 20-minute pitch, that managing partner, Elareza, he said, like, okay, here's $150K first. We're going to invest right now, and then we're going to invest more and more as round comes along. I said, wait, are you deciding right now, right on this table? And he said, well, yeah, well, I can wait for you guys for 20 years, but you can decide. Okay, I'll get back to you like by tonight. And then that was like the very first investment, like 150K from Plug and Play. And that was kind of ignition of this, like our seed round fundraising. Once we switched our target from human to our dogs and cats, it changed the game was changed, like completely changed. So all the success rate of the investor meeting comes like really high. So we got around 14 VCs involved in the 4 million round throughout the year. And then, yeah, it was, it's kind of mixture of really difficult moments and really exciting moments. I'm really happy that we kind of across the first kind of valley. Of course, there are a lot higher, a lot deeper, like up and down. Okay, welcome, but yeah, here we are.
Yeah, and this is something that I think is great about this era, that we have all these opportunities. And I think that there are many people who do not know that this is something that can be done. Now, for example, our business is kind of a service that we can do. So it's we had the opportunities to go look for investment, but we have been doing good enough so that we could say, yeah, let's wait. So let's leave it a little bit for later, because if we can, if we are able to make it work on our own, and if we are a little bit more patient, then we can have the company completely for ourselves, so we don't have to share shares with other people, right? But at the same time, it's a hard decision to make, because obviously if you have the funds, you can advance a lot faster with a lot of the plans that you have, but we decided to take the harder route, because so far it's been doing good enough. And but there are the projects like yours, like that is a completely different thing, and that is not something that you can advance on your own.
Right, exactly.
There is a lot of technical stuff that you need access to, that is not cheap at all. And even when developing many different type of technologies. But again, I think that that is a shame that many people still don't know about this, because I remember there was this conversation in Facebook with a couple of friends, and we were talking something about something that Elon Musk did. I don't remember what was it. So many things that he has done.
Yeah.
But there was this guy who commented like, "Oh well, if I had that kind of money, I will be able to do that too, right?" Like, and I was like, "Dude, you can ask like a venture capital. If you have an amazing idea, you can go into an incubator, into an accelerator, or ask an angel investor. There is angel.com. Like, if your idea is good, is good enough, and if you have the right skill set to make it happen, then money is not an issue. You can always ask. And he was
Right.
all mad because he thought I was going crazy, and he was like, no, look at these things, and I put him like a list, and he was blown away. And even I'm from El Salvador, even in my country there, when we realized and this happened many years ago, to be honest, but when we found out about the things about incubators and accelerators, many people didn't want it to apply because they thought it was a scam that they were going to get ripped off or something like that. Until we met a friend of ours who was selected in one incubator in New York, and he went there and developed his company a lot, and then he came talking about the experience, and everybody was like going crazy, like, this thing is real, like this thing exists.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it does.
Yeah. The accelerator incubator, I think that's one of the best parts of the US startup ecosystem. I think these take a really crucial role there. So our company is also, we got a really good benefit from accelerators. So we started it's kind of funny that we incorporated our company in May 4th in 2017. I just insisted to incorporate our company. I pushed my lawyer to, we need the May 4th. Why you guys are so pushing? May the 4th be with us. So, anyway, so we incorporated May 4th in 2017, and then May 5th in 2017, we actually entered into our first incubator, which was run by Pear Ventures and Pagemon and Mar Ventures. Pagemon is one of the two the first investors of the Dropbox. Anyway, so they run their own incubator system there, and then we spent 3 months there, and then longer even after 3 months, we were able to use our free office desks, and then their the community facilities. So it was we didn't have any money that time. And so that kind of incubator and free office space to work with our team, that's crucial part. And then the second incubator, I'm actually doing this interview with you at the StartX. StartX is a Stanford accelerator program. So it was founded by Stanford students. And then right now, the Stanford Healthcare is one of the major investors of this accelerator. Anyway, especially for you were 100% correct. For the company like ours, we need the resources. Like the biotech companies need the materials and then lab facilities. The lab facility combined with office space, that's crucial for us. So the StartX, this accelerator, they provide us. Of course, we need to pay rent, but they have kind of reasonable pricing model that before funding, after funding. So we can save more money through that pricing model too. So space and the people, the community, those two are the most important parts that accelerator can provide. Of course, a lot the cost effective compared to the outside. So I think accelerator and incubator, absolutely, you are correct that those are really important.
And there is another benefit about those two things as well that it's very hard to talk about this, because if you haven't lived it, is very good. It's going to be very hard to relate to that, because it's such an unique experience. And that is the benefits of being surrounded of people like you, like people who are trying to achieve amazing things and who are working. And because for once, I think the most basic thing that it does is that it kind of eliminates any limiting belief that you have really fast, because we have all these ideas of, oh, this is not something that will work, this is not something that we can do, and then you're sitting right next to people who are doing those things that you do not believe were possible, and they are doing it like it was the most easiest thing in the world, and that kind of thing shifts your mentality really, really fast. And And I had an experience like that uh, with a group of entrepreneurs. There was this event where we were all together in Bulgaria, and we pretty much lived there for a week. But after that, like the first interview show that we created, it came right like 1 week after I came back from Bulgaria, and
Mm-hmm.
it was with one of the three most important people in the animation industry.
Mm-hmm.
And from there we didn't stop, and there were a lot of limiting beliefs that were destroyed over there. And secondly, and this is the most weird thing that happened that I don't think that many people will understand unless they have lived it, is that
Mm-hmm.
when you're surrounded with your kind of people, people who are doing these kind of
Exactly.
things, you
Yeah.
get an amazing energy.
Mm-hmm.
You can work a lot harder, a lot more efficient. Like you can, I remember I was able to wake up at 7 a.m. like completely fresh and thinking like, oh man, like really excited. I have to go down. Probably they are already having breakfast and having a good time, and then we will go into business the whole morning, and then the afternoon we will yeah, kind of entertain ourselves, going to the mountain, the town of Vaxco and things like that. And in the night it was party, and then I will be asleep at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and at 7 a.m. I will wake up like completely fresh. And that is
Yeah.
something that doesn't happen. You like if I don't sleep well, usually in my normal environment, like on the next day I wake up completely zombified. Uh,
Yeah.
but over there I had a whole different kind of energy that I had never experienced before. And, and
Sure.
and when I talk to people who have been into incubators and accelerators or programs like this, where they are surrounded with a lot of uh, high focus, high achievers kind of people, they all tell me the
Yeah.
same thing. Like this is not something that we can usually talk with family or normal friends who are not into
Yeah.
this. They will not understand that.
Yeah, yeah. We spend more hours here in the incubator and accelerator than family. So these are our like kind of family. So I'm really glad that you point that out. Some kind of like mental thing, mental benefit from because whenever I actually do some kind of like talk about the startup life in other places, I always emphasize that one of the most important benefit from the incubator is not only the points that I like resources that I pointed out before, but the the mental, the benefit kind of that what you just described. So when I was alone before this incubator, like I wake up in the morning and then it's like one day I'm just like full of this kind of excitement and then confidence. I can do this. I can, that I can save people through our technology. But like next day, can I really do this? Like there are a lot of things to think about and then there are so many hurdles. This actually not like day by day. It's like later, I felt like even in one day, the like confidence level goes up and down, really high and low. But when I came to the incubator and accelerator, all the people are saying like they do all these like they do exactly experience the same thing like there's ups and downs in the mentality, and then we once we all get together, oh, you also experienced that. I did experience this. And it's well, it's really hard that all the founders in the incubator have like low confidence. Of course they're like someone like low, someone high, someone in the middle. So like all this kind of averages out and okay, like let's move forward. So I think that's a kind of really, really helpful thing that everyone experiences the same way. And then more, if in addition to that, there are people who graduated this incubator and accelerator and who became alumni of this incubator. So actually StartX connect us to the successful founders who graduated this accelerator incubator in the same field. So we got connected to the one of the biotech company alumni, and then they're doing great. And then they just like throw out tons of great lessons and then the advice. So for nothing, for it's non-profit. So I just asked him to like, "Oh, thank you so much. So do you want some like compensation? No, 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 no. So why you do this? Like, I know you are super busy, but you make your time to help us for free." He's like, "Oh, it's not for free because I got kind of like this kind of help from my alumni, and then so that's why I'm helping you guys. So I want you two guys go up and then do this kind of thing to your procedures."
Pass it
So
on. To pass it
yeah,
on.
yeah, pass it on. Yeah, pass it on. I think that's a great kind of good circle of Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and I had that experience as well. Like that was kind of crazy for me because when I was working on my first businesses, I had people who were from Germany and the US and Canada and even New Zealand and Australia who were like kind of late in the night helping me out to do something that I didn't know how to do. And it's like, damn, like this is somebody that I have never met face to face before. And this
Mm.
person here is like losing sleep trying to help me out for free. And,
Yeah.
and that is kind of crazy, but this is something that I really, really, really love about the entrepreneurship environment, that I think it creates kind of a bond or a link between people that you cannot find anywhere else, because it's kind of a bond of a struggle. I think that
Hmm.
everybody knows the struggle, as you mentioned, that everybody's going through the ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and
Yeah.
downs. We all been there, and that kind of thing. And I think at some level we all had to deal with people who were really close to us, doubting that we were going to be able to do something like that, or
Right.
pushing us to to secure a more secure job, let's say, and things
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
And and I think that is a very different understanding that happens when people who are trying to do something that is not ordinary come together. And
Hmm.
as you say, like the mindset changes a lot, and when you end up figuring out is that, well,
Hmm.
I think we all have been there when we got started, that we see people like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs,
Hmm.
or even like I know a lot of people who, if they see what you have been able to do, they will
Hmm.
think like, no, that like this guy is another different level. Like I will not be
Hmm.
able to do something like that, but we are all the same. Like it's like
Right. Yeah.
we might have some advantage in different areas, as you mentioned,
Hmm.
but uh, on on a very basic level, like we are all the same. Like we can do this kind of stuff, but we need to
Yep.
apply ourselves
Yep.
to
I
it.
agree. Hmm. Sure. Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah.
And as you mentioned, like you probably are a genius because you focus completely on this area that you're pursuing right now. But
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that. Like I'm really good at business and
Hmm.
in marketing and doing the animation kind of stuff. But
Right.
when it comes to other areas, I'm completely lost.
It's same for old people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And what are the plans that you have for Imprimed in the near future? Uh,
Yeah, in the near future, definitely within 2 years, that's our kind of plan for using our Series A money. So we are doing a Series A fundraising, and thankfully, our existing investors, as you can imagine from our achievements, they are all excited about this. So most of them are follow-ons. So we already filled up around like 45% of the round, and then new investors actually trying to come in with 3 million. So the round is in a good shape. We are definitely looking for more investors. But once we have this money, our runway is planning around like 2.5 years. So within 2 years, right now we are working with around like 22% of the veterinary cancer society. So we are working with 99 doctors and at 77 veterinary specialty hospitals in the U.S. in 26 different states. So there are definitely a lot more veterinary hospitals and then also the general practitioners. So our 2-year plan is we are expanding our client network to the 100% of the veterinary specialty hospitals in the U.S. And also we recently and very actively initiated our market expansion to the Japan market. So we got a really good Japan collaborator who can take care of our sales and distribution. So we can only focus on science and the service part. So it's going to happen. So in 2 years, we're going to take all the veterinary cancer hospitals in the US and then expand our service to Japan. And also right now we are only focusing on the blood cancers for dogs, but we are going to open our service to cats and also other type of cancers. Our next target is bone cancer, osteosarcoma. So yeah, so different type of cancer. And also, as I pointed out, our long-term vision is we are collecting all these kind of great cases here in the space and then translate it into the human. So our technology right now, we are ready to apply this technology for human blood cancers, lymphoma and leukemia. So we're going to have at least 5 human patient data within 2 years. That's our plan.
Yeah, because I think if you have an amazing success rate with this, it's going to be way easier to take it out to humans later on, because you will have a lot of more trust, let's say, into the medical industry and things like that. And also just, I'm going to throw this note as well. Probably you should also try to see if you can add birds into the into this case studies, because I think I also know a lot of people who are like bird lovers and who will have a lot of interest to take.
Oh, that'd be great.
As well.
Yeah, please connect. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And something that I wanted to ask you about this is that, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so, got it.
Yeah.
What was something, well, just to give you an understanding of where this question comes from, when I started my business, I had all these ideas of the problems that I was going to face and how I will deal with them. And I thought like, oh man, like these things are going to be the hardest things to face into my business. Mm-hmm. And what I ended up happening is that these ideas that I had in my mind never happened, or if they did, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And the things that I found harder to deal with were the things that I never even thought about, things that I never expected, and things that never crossed my mind. So in the spirit of finding out the things that we don't know, what was something that you didn't expect at all when you started this business that became really true, and it's very important to know when you're starting a company?
That's a great question. So I thought that I wanted, so what I'm doing right now, so running my own company with great people, great friends, and to save like lives, this is my dream job. And then this is why I actually came to US in 2010. I just trying to finish the advanced degree in US and then start with the good friends I met here, and then trying to start this kind of company, biotech company. So I thought that I have been dreaming this kind of startup, founding a startup and running a startup for a long time. When I started like more than like 20 years. And then the idea that I brought up, this company's basic idea, trying to get rather than just developing new therapeutics, but at the same time, it's really important, but at the same time, trying to optimize what we currently have is also very important to save people who really needs a treatment today. That's for the future, but this is for today. So there will be more and more drugs will come into the medical cabinet. But anyway, there are tons of options here. How we optimize this is really important. So this idea and some kind of technical idea I brought up in 2012. So I thought that, and I founded a company in 2017. during that time, I always thought about like, and then trying to be more specific what kind of steps I need to go for. So I thought that when I first graduated and then first incorporated this company, I thought that I'm very ready to go for this business, but you know, nothing can be ready actually. So yeah, I know how to incorporate the company. That's it. So after that, for the technical issues, the biggest surprise to me is that I have been working in this space for like very, very long time. I mean, I collectively around like 18 years, not very, very long time, but 18 years doing this biomedical engineering. And then I handled a lot of different cells, but those are all in the academic and also the pharmaceutical company. Also, we have some kind of lab setting, which is artificial mice and then artificial immortalized cells. Those are completely different from the actual patient cells. So actual patient sample, it just die. Once we take out of the body, the cells cells are exposed to the different environment and they are very fragile to die. In the lab, what the cells we are dealing with, they never die. If we feed them like regularly and then at the right timing, they never die. So that's the first thing that I was very surprised. Those are completely different. So all this kind of like technology optimization, I just started from the scratch. So that's kind of a technical surprise. And another surprise is that, wow, fundraising is really hard. Oh my God, like, yeah. And what I learned from Berkeley program, I actually took one business class, and then I loved that class, and then the speaker was great, the professor was great, but he mentioned that for the first round fundraising, you guys, investors will not take a look into your idea. They will take a look into the market and the team. That's it. So you guys need to build a great team and then just target a great market. They don't buy your idea. The idea can be changed. Okay, so I felt like I'm ready. I have really good co-founder, and then we have a good target market. Cancer is a great market, and then personalized cancer medicine, that's the future. He was wrong. Maybe that was right before like 5 or like 8 years ago. That's 8 years. That was 8 years ago. Right now, like when in 2017, it's totally different. I was very surprised that, wait, they are trying to think, do you guys have patents? Do you guys have paper? Do you guys like validate this idea with the clinical samples? Based on his the lecture, those are the questions that I can get from the next round, the second fundraising or Series A. But I realized that, so I was surprised, and then take a look into the Google search, and then why is it so difficult? And then there is definitely tons of articles that there is no seed round these days. Today's seed is yesterday's Series A. So yesterday's Series A is today's Series A is yesterday's Series B. So that makes sense. Okay, so investors trying to take a look into the idea and then the validation of the idea. That's why we do see often see a pre-seed round, which is probably what the professor mentioned. So the world is, the environment has been changed. But that's actually made us really hard especially for the like slow biotech companies to pitch their idea for fundraising. Yeah, there are a lot about this expectancy. Yeah, every day.
Actually, what you just mentioned there is something that I learned recently. There is this book that is highly recommended by many investors, which is called Venture Deals,
okay,
and especially the third edition.
Oh, I read that book.
Yeah. So exactly what you just said, he explained that. Like before, the term pre-seed didn't exist. It was just seed, and it was only to get like $50,000, something like that. Now in Crunchbase, I'm seeing like, oh, they just got their seed round, and like $2 million.
Mhm.
What the? And they explain
Yeah.
that there, like
Yeah.
as you're saying, like things are growing. Right now, I
Mhm.
think it's a very weird time to these times that we're living on, because on one hand, like we never had it better. I think we never
Mhm.
have it better as humans, and we have a lot of good things happening. And on the other hand, like everything is burning as well, and there is a lot of people saying like, oh, things are bad, and all the media is telling us like things are bad, things are bad, things are bad. It's like uh kind of, but not truly. but
Yeah.
but yeah, and this is something that we can see as well in the investors. Like if things are growing at this level,
Mhm.
things are good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we need to live with this. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And if you were to meet, let's say, a young version of you, a young driven student who is about to enter the real world, let's call it, what advice would you give that person, and what advice should that person ignore?
Hmm. That's a hard question. So because I'm still young, entrepreneur. So, but
But on
um,
the other hand, you have a lot of experience that other people
yeah, just a little more experience. So I can say that um, there is definitely a way to solve the problem. That's why I think, well, this is my entire life kind of phrase that I always just like keep repeating by myself. Whenever you encounter difficulties and then you may feel like there is no way to exit or escape this, solve this problem, but no, the solutions are all there. It's just like we didn't find the solution yet. So I strongly believe that there are always a solution to solve problems. Um, so that's my thought, and then I'm just trying to solve the cancer problem. I think the cancer can be also be solved by utilizing what we already have and then building up new knowledge. So because cancer, it's we already have tons of knowledge from all different fields. So how we can engineer this information is the way to solve the problem. So no, don't be depressed, and then just and then don't work alone. It's very dangerous. It's there are there are tons to meet to find the great co-founders and great team. That's the key um, to survive. I will not say succeed because right now we I don't think our company is successful so far. I mean we're doing pretty good, but I can consider like our company made a success. We have like long way to go, but to survive and then to keep growing, we need to you need to meet a really great you need to find a really good team members and then just enjoy. Just think about why you are doing this and then just motivate yourself. The good thing about startup is that you started by yourself. There should be a reason. You should not like forget about it. To me, I started this company to save lives. That's I cannot forget about it because I always see really sick animals and humans. Um, so yeah, so those three things. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was one guy, I don't remember who he was, but they they told us like, look, finding a co-founder
Hmm.
is like finding your spouse. Like you're going to
Yeah.
be like married. So
Maybe more difficult than finding a spouse
yeah,
because, yeah.
and
I will
and,
not
and
say
you
more, but
and you have to think it that way. Like you're going to be like married,
hmm
so you
yeah,
have to take a damn good decision on who your partner is going to be in the business,
right.
because it's going to mean a lot
Yeah.
in the future. Uh, I'm guessing that doing all these things in your startup, you have find yourself in many times being overwhelmed or tired or unfocused.
Right.
So what
Yeah.
do you do to get back to your center and keep working?
Basketball. I play
Hmm,
basketball. Yeah. I have
nice.
basketball like since like my high school, and yeah, well, the people, they're my best friends. Like the people I meet on basketball courts every Monday and Wednesday. So I think this is a great point. Like there are number four. I would add the number four is trying to find a way to stress out. So like 2 minutes of basketball for every CEO. As you point out, we are all overwhelmed by all as your company grows more, the more things happening, and there are a lot more problems to solve, and there are a lot of things to improve. So just like it's really, really, really overwhelmed, but so we need some time to just black out our brain, right? Refresh our brain during the like 3 to 4 hours playing basketball and drinking beer with my friends. I don't think about my company stuff. It's kind of like just how to dribble, how to penetrate, and how to shoot 3 points. So those kind of things. Like yeah, I think that's really, really important for the mental health and also for your physical health.
Yeah, that is something that a mentor of mine told me, to have clear cuts. Like he told me, well, when you're with your friends, family, or doing something else, then never, never, never think about business there. Never turn on
Mm.
your logical
Mm.
mind or trying to solve problems there. Just try to be there, enjoy. And when you're working,
Yeah.
don't think as well in, oh, I would like to be with my friends or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
try to have clear cuts. When you're working, focus on work. When you're with friends, just enjoy the moment, but never try to
Yeah.
put this together. For my case, I have to admit that the dog that I have, since he's a schnauzer,
Mm-hmm.
he has a lot of energy. And if I don't take him for a walk in the night, he's not
Yeah.
gonna let me sleep at all. so,
Oh.
so my way of getting this stress is pretty much taking a walk with him while I'm
Mm-hmm.
listening to an audiobook,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much I use that time to decompress.
That's
So,
great.
and have you ever had a failure or something that looked like a failure that actually set you up for success in the future?
Kind of like the experience of failure before.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
something
Well,
that
a
in the
lot.
moment, yeah, or something that in the moment it looked like a failure, but it actually turned out to be something good in the long term.
Oh, yeah. I have the exact like. Well, I have many failures, but I have really good case that. So I'm originally from Korea, and I went to all the like good schools in Korea. So I thought that I can go study in US in a really good schools easily. So I applied my like PhD and with like 14 schools that I really want to go, and then I got all rejected. I was really, oh my god, like that was a miserable time that because I have this kind of big dream to go study in US and then meet my great friends, and then we like discuss about idea and then build a startup. And then all 14 schools just like rejected me. And then, but there were two schools, UC Berkeley and Stanford, they offered me a master's degree program, but I already had a master's degree in Korea. So I just ignored that email, and I just forgot about it. But my friend, my very close friend, he actually got admitted to Stanford, and then he was already studying in Georgia Tech, and then he just called me every week, even in my like, miserable times. Just he called me. So, is there any good news? No. Is there any good news? No. If he was not like close enough, I wasn't really like fighting him. I probably fought with him, but he was really, really close friend with me, and then I really appreciate that like he always called me because I understand that he really wants to study with me. So and then like I just told him that after all rejection, I told him that I think I cannot go this year. I probably reapply next year. And then he said like, I know you have a master's degree, so you probably didn't apply for the master's degree, but for safety, so why didn't you? It would be having really great if you can apply for like 2 or 3 master's degree program in addition to the PhD. And wait, hold on, like I need to hang up. And I just dig up the email, and I found that Stanford master's, the offer letter was due like two days before, and the Berkeley one was actually like 10 hours after, like 10 hours from that. So I just like stayed up like all night and then just try to modify my PhD application into master's degree application, and then that's how I actually got into the UC Berkeley master's program. And the even better thing is that so it was a master's degree, but it's called Master of Translational Medicine. And it was a new program, actually. It's a joint program between UC Berkeley and UC San Francisco. So this program is very unique. It's actually like, it's thrive these days. There were a lot of applicants applying for this program, and it's getting bigger and bigger. But back then, I was the first cohort. And then there was no master's degree program before in bioengineering in UC Berkeley. And then we were the first cohort. And then the program is very unique, trying to pick up the scientist and engineer background students and then train them in the UC Berkeley Haas Business School, teaching the business stuff, startup business stuff, and the UC San Francisco, like teaching that clinical trial design, and then we actually took the class with the medical doctors. So that was a great combination, and that, oh my God, that 1 year, I learned so much about like, all this kind of environment and then ecosystem and business stuff, clinical stuff. It's a lot better than just like regular master's degree with like pipetting, then all this kind of wet lab work. That was very unique. And then the UC Berkeley professor, UC San Francisco professors wrote me a recommendation letter for the Stanford. So that's how it went. So if I was just like, I thought that it was a failure, right? So I planned to go for the PhD directly, but I spent one more year with this program. But this program was actually really, really beneficial, like really, really great to my career. So no one knows in the future. Just don't lose your great motivation in your mind. I think, and then just be nice to all the people, and there will be a reward, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that one of the reasons I make this question is because, as you just mentioned, there are people who get something bad happening to them and they just give up over there because, what they had in mind didn't kind of came through.
Mm-hmm.
But you do not know if this is something good actually, that it's going to turn into something good in the future. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm not going to deny that. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes you get surprised.
Yeah. And then if I add one more thing is that my mindset when I'll do this master's degree one more time, but I will reapply PhD degree just one more time. So I'm going to just do my best of the best throughout this 1 year. I will try my best from my heart. And then if I cannot get into the PhD program in US, that's it. I did my best. Okay. So I will come back. I had a backup plan that I will come back to Korea and then will be the #1 salesperson in the pharmaceutical company. I can do it right now. I love like meeting people. I can be a very unique salesperson who has all the scientific background and pharmaceutical experience. So I will be the salesperson who not only just sell the product, but who can explain about the mechanism of action on the site. I will not usually the salesperson say like when they get the kind of technical questions, oh, that's a great question. I'm gonna connect you to our scientific department. No, I'm not gonna do that. I will answer right there. So I'm pretty confident that I will be the number one salesperson, pharmaceutical salesperson in Korea. So what I want to say is that if you have if you feel like it's kind of a failure and then really miserable, just do one more time, just like one more time with from all your heart, all your energy, and put all your energy. If you cannot get it, okay, well, but at least you have an experience of the limitation. You tested your limitation, so that's a really great experience in your life. I am the person who can do this much. Like I can sleep like 2 hours per day and then just do all this like great amount of work. I'm the person like that. So that kind of experience is a really the precious asset for your life.
Yeah, I think this path in entrepreneurship, it takes you into that, like testing your limitations. Because when I started my business, I was thinking, I'm just going to have something small, something that gives me about $5,000 a month. I'm going to live very easy. And I thought that was like a crazy goal back then. Like I thought it was going to be the maximum that I will achieve. And if you had told me back then, like, oh, you're going to meet a lot of millionaires, you're going to meet people who have won Academy Awards, the people who have directed the movies that you love, and I will have told you that, nah, you're crazy. but happened. But it happened. So
Right.
And looking back, like when I try to look back and connect the dots, it kind of goes crazy because it's kind of surreal to think all the things that have happened
Right.
compared to the vision that we had in the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
So that is something cool. Now, I'm going to make you a very, very hard question.
Okay.
So let's say you wake up tomorrow and you wake up in a completely different dimension where nobody knows about you, you don't have your business, but you have all your experience, all your knowledge, all your skills, and $500 in your pocket. And this dimension looks very similar to what we have right now. What will you do to get back into this point, professionally speaking, as soon as possible?
So I have $500 in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I have no track record, so no one knows like I did like startups or.
Yeah, you don't have the startups. You can have the college degrees, but you don't have the startups. You don't have, nobody else knows about you. What would you do to get back to this point, professional speaking?
So my question is that there is a history of my startup or
no?
No? Okay.
No.
Well, I was trying to buy an iPhone and try to show like this was my startup, like just trying to show that. But okay, $500. Okay. That's a really hard question and very creative. I will. So I will using $500. I will try to spend that $500 to have a meeting with great people. I mean, just buy their like coffee. Just ask them like, can you do some coffee chat with me? And then try to collect them, and then build a team.
Nice. Yeah. I think that is a very smart way of using it. You're the first one who has answered that kind of thing, like
really?
to meet amazing people to build a team. And I think that is a very amazing advice.
So I can at least have like 40 to 50 people using 500. Yeah. I'm pretty confident that at least 2 or 3 people I can recruit. So we can be team up with 3 or 4 and then make a great startup again. Yeah,
yeah, I think that is a very intelligent way of using that. So is there any other advice that you would like to give that we haven't talked into this interview yet?
Advice to
people who are starting out their own startups?
Just do it. No one knows. You cannot be prepared enough. Just do it. and then just experience difficulties, but do, start the startup when you're ready to enjoy, fully enjoy. But don't try to be prepared the perfect in the technology wise and all the you can in the business wise, you cannot be prepared perfect, but you can be prepared to enjoy. So just do it just do it when you are ready to enjoy. Yeah.
That is a good advice. That is a damn good advice. And if people want
Thank
to
you.
find more about you and ImpriMed, where can they do so?
Yeah, well, we have an imprimedicine.com website. You can just Google ImpriMed or and then I think that's the easiest way. Just email me, songwon@imprimedicine.com. I'm very open to help our future entrepreneurs, and also I'm willing to be connect with the great people. So who can help our company.
Awesome. I will put all the links to your social media and website into this post as well. Thanks a lot for being here, Songwon.
Thank you so
I know that you
much.
have been really busy, but I really appreciate that you have taken the time to be here and talk to us about your experience and your advice. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This was great. I mean, I really enjoyed this interview. I feel like we are just not doing an interview. It was weird. I felt like we were doing just like coffee meeting, something like that. So I really appreciate this kind of making this good atmosphere, and thanks for great questions.
Awesome. So if you have liked this interview, please click the like button below and also click the subscribe button and the bell icon. And if you are listening into our podcast platform, just click the subscribe button to be able to be notified when there is a new episode. I hope you like this last episode. Until next time.